Alright, we're back again. This is the hang on. This is the top end of the Panhead. Basically all I've done so far is pulled all the screws out. Pull all the screws out of the pan. Hence, if you turn it over, guess I'm too close now. Looks like a pan. Cook up some eggs in there. You definitely don't want to leave them upside down, as Tatro was saying last night. Sure way to make a mess of things. Alright, let's see what we got here. That look alright? Yeah, try that. So, we're finding out as we tear this thing further apart that we assumed it was 74 cubic inch and it's not at 62, which is worked pretty good for what size it was and bearings and everything, but we're likely I'm gonna go ahead and go with 74 or bigger. So these cylinders aren't gonna work for us. We're gonna go ahead and pull these out. They're actually in pretty good shape, so we'll probably put them up and sell them off. Plus the crank too was a small crank. So got this apart here. So the distance between here and here, pretty darn short. So small stroke, small engine, 62 cubic inch. Hey Tatro, is it 62 or 64? The stroke on this engine. 61 inch, okay. I want to get it right. Okay. My mistake. 61 inch, 1000 cc motor. And that's the way it came, so we're going to upsize it. We'll find some bigger flywheels, which is the space between here and the stroke, and then bigger cylinders, and I think hopefully everything else will work. The actual cases we were cleaned up last night. They're in pretty good shape. Well, we talked about that already. So the other thing I found out, and obviously, no, I don't have a fender anymore. I don't have a bike anymore. I have all these parts, but I went to just pop these bolts off, and I should have to almost put it in a vise and everything to really bust loose the head bolts. And they just literally, all I did was take this, put it on, and it came loose. So I would have had a future problem with this bike. Probably blown a head gasket the first time we really got on it. Got hot and got going. So yeah, I'm going to pull this out. So it's 4 bolts. Got one out already. We got the other 2 off. We'll separate the heads and kind of show you what that looks like. There you go. See that? In this particular case, getting in there real tight. It's a real tight fit, so I got a 1/4 inch drive and a little U-joint socket. It just goes a lot faster. You could do it by hand or couple of strokes at a time with the this works a lot better. That's about it. I'll take this one out and then. Alright, I'm going to pause. I'll come back when I get the rest of these off. Get this thing separated. I'm back. I'm taking out the last one. I discovered I didn't even need the U-joint, so I just got this 1/4 inch drive's got a really small head to it. I can just get it in there real tight, get everything tightened up, and it would be going the opposite way when you're putting it back on. Use this to get it started and get it snugged up, and then do your torquing down. It's fancy, well, kind of an interesting setup for torquing down, but we'll come to that later when we someday put this back together. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Okay, so that's the last one. I think. Oh, nope, missed one. 5 bolts. So this hasn't even been loosened yet. That's all it took, just a little bit of pressure. I mean, not even 20 psi. So this thing was destined to blow a head gasket. I don't know why I don't double check. You know, typically you tighten them down and retorque them, and then you run it, and you retorque it again. Same as checking your valves, your push rods, things like that. So for so many miles, you got to check everything again because it's got settled in. I don't know that much about this engine anyhow. Except every time we take one thing apart, we find other things to do to it. In this particular case, I actually have one of the screws has been broken off. There we go. Well, we now have a cylinder and a head. It's actually in pretty good shape, so if it wasn't so small, we would have just reused this, but we're going just a little bit bigger on it. The head's in pretty good shape. We'll probably do the next step, the actual threads. I don't know if you can see them or not. The threads on these are in pretty good shape, which is good news. The spigot where we're going to attach the exhaust on is a little beat up, but not bad shape. And then in this particular case, we had unscrewed this, and the threads are in kind of buggered up, but we're gonna epoxy this thing back in, epoxy or liquid metal or whatever back in, instead of just re-welding it and redoing it, because, well, I just don't want to mess around with it. So that's that one. Put the pan back on it. See, Panhead. Just there for temporary. We'll pull this one over. Take a look at that. See what we got. So let's see what we got here. Maybe this one got torqued down better. Oh, no, not really. Barely any pressure at all on it to loosen them up. I'm just barely pushing on that thing and it's coming loose. Lovely. I was resigned to the fact this thing was going to come apart about 2 weeks ago. Take it apart, get it right, put it back together, know what we're doing, know what you got in it, and have fun doing it. Imagine that. Living a dream. That work on stuff just for the fun of working on it. Look at that. See, that's barely even any pressure at all. Alright. Now I'm back to my 1/4 inch. Where'd 1/4 inch go? Keep using stuff. This 1/4 inch. This is kind of boring, so I gotta loosen all these up. I'll be back. Alright, we're back. It's got the other side undone. There's actually some pretty good cylinders. There's no broken pins or anything on it. So we'll get someday get some money back on those, or some money out of those. Here's the head. It's pretty cool here, 1948. That's the it's on there. So this one, this bung, or this is in a hell of a lot better shape, but then it's been replaced. You can see where it's been welded in. See that, where it's been welded in, a lot thicker here. Now Tatro is going to see this as, man, you need to get this thing cleaned out some. Open up this hole some more. Pretty welded in there, so that's not a problem compared to the other one, which I showed you earlier. It's pretty gnarly looking, pretty beat up. So you can do that kind of repair and fix those, and That pipe is all will be good to go. Let's check the threads on this. Threads are good on this one. No broken fins, so we're good to go. Everything up here looks okay. We'll probably take it one step further, take the valves out, look at the seats, see how good they are. Although this would indicate, as clean as everything is, we'd hope that it would be okay. But as we found in the past, there's other problems that might be there. So, all right, that's all I got. We're down to, what are we down to? Let's see. That's the engine. That's the case, and that's the other case. Right side, left side. Cylinders, flywheels, heads, lots of parts in the box. I don't think we can go much further. Next is taking apart the transmission and looking at that. And I'm going to set that up once I get this all organized. Take the transmission, have that there. I got a second transmission that needs to put a third gear in it. And I got another one in the back that I might simultaneously, or at least have it there to look and see what kind of shape it's in. So more stuff to do. So